Okay, this is a review of the book The Jobava London System by Simon Williams. Notice that this book is also available in Chessable. However, honestly, I want to tell you one thing, because the book has the same structure of the Chessable courses, in which there is, for example, the quick starter, okay? The famous quick starter. Yet, I found that Chessable doesn't really work for me. Why? Because I learned the quick starter and after I forget it because I have other things to do. I'm an adult. I'm sorry. I have a job. I have a family. I have taxes to pay. I have a lot of stuff. So unfortunately, I do the things they tell me to do, but then for something that happens, I'm not able to practice for a while. I totally forgot it. Instead, what I found out in a book is that I can replay the games over the chessboard, and this helped me to remember them better. You say, why? How is it possible? No, it's not possible. Well, I will tell you why. Because I'm using my hands and the brain. It seems that the connection between the hand that actually does the movement over the board helps the brain to remember. While with a chessable, you don't have this physical kinesthetic connection to remember the stuff. So that's what happened to me, because I did a course on the Sicilian. Apart that some of the lines ended up with positions that the authors gave an evaluation and it wasn't true. Apart that. But the real problem was I didn't remember those lines. I didn't remember. And luckily it wasn't even a very long line. It was like 12, 13 moves. So, in any case, this is game 28, Berkis versus Proaska of Zalakaros Open in 2015. Now, I took this game because I saw that it was a short game and obviously fought very hard. Of course, let's remember that in reality he wants to us to learn this, knight c3. This is the real Jobava London, okay? But in any case, sometimes there are some transpositions. So after c5, what do you do as white? And this is why I took this game. e4, very strong move, right? d takes e4, d5, it seems like a kind of Budapest gambit, right? Knight f6, and knight c3. This is the Jobava London system. This is an important position that we will cover in some detail in the theory section. White reaches an Albin counter gambit. Okay, sorry, Albin counter gambit. With an extra tempo. The Albin counter gambit is not such a good opening if playing against a computer. Luckily, we don't play against computers. We play against humans. On the plus side, though, you will always be attacking and facing opposition made of flesh and blood. Well, we don't know. In some cases, we don't know, right? Because also Magnus was a little upset. And the guy was flesh and blood, but he had something else too. So a6, queen e2. And here it says, this is what most of the top players play. But I give my reasons for not picking it as our main move in the theory section. Saying that, I would still be very tempted to play queen e2 in a practical game. The positions that are reached may not be 100% correct, but as we will see in this game, things are very double-edged, and anything can happen. Do remember not to get too carried away with what the computer displays. Practical chess is different. Okay? Okay, next. What do you think? Black played g6. Long castle. But it was possible also to take here bishop g7, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, and queen takes e4. At this point, black continues with castle. And here William says, a key position that I spent ages looking at. Unfortunately, I ended up coming to the conclusion that, with precise play, black is doing fine, if not a bit better than white. Saying that, life should be a gamble now and again, right? Well, it depends. If you spend money for entry fee, and maybe the entry fee of the tournament is $100, maybe you don't want to gamble, right? But at the same time, today the opening preparation is very high level, also club player. You need to unbalance the thing in some ways. Queen e3, this is a good move. This is suggested in most sources as white's best move. It does seem logical to follow up with bishop h6, thereby weakening black's king side. Queen e5. This is okay, but not as strong, in my opinion, as 10 knight d7. This is the best move for Williams for black. King b1, obviously defending, and bishop f5. A bit slow. The bishop may look active here, but there are no real threats, and bishop f5 seems to make the bishop a target more than anything. Now white just gets on with the things. So also in this case, it seems knight d7 was better. Okay. Notice when you continue to see a move like knight d7 proposed, it means that probably the engine found it and the engine is able to justify it. Because in some cases I continue to see the same move proposed by the engine. Okay. Okay. So knight h6. Both sides are hammering away at each other on opposite sides of the board. Who will land the blow fourth? Rook d8 is a dubious move, okay? Another slightly dubious move. This is just too slow, and now white takes over. It does seem that black's best option in most cases is the risky exchange. 12, bishop takes h6. So instead of this move, he says this was the one to play in this situation, also if it's risky. And of course, it gives a big line that you should see in the book or in your chessable course. Bishop takes g7, king takes g7, and bishop e2. This is a dubious as well, okay? A bit slow as well. A more fun move would have been what? What would you have played if you were white in this position? Because this is the point of making a review in a video, that I can engage the viewer and ask him, what are you going to do now? And maybe it's better even than reading the book or the chessable course, because I'm asking you something. What are you doing now? Like a teacher. So it seems the best move, bang, was g4, with the idea that if you play bishop takes g4, then follows up bishop e2, bishop takes e2, knight takes e2, and now there is a real attack on the h file, and this file is open, okay? So I hope you were able to visualize that line, if not by the book or the chessable course or whatever you want, and see it for yourself, okay? That's very interesting. So, however, he played bishop e2, but it's a little slow. Queen a4, queen c1, and rook d6. Again, this is the funny thing. Once more, he says knight d7 makes more sense. Again, this is an engine move. You can see it all the time. When he continues to tell you that you need to play that move, that's the reason it's an engine move, because the engine wants to develop all the pieces. And in fact, now he has only 3 pieces out. These 2 are out of the game. That's why it makes more sense for the computer, at least, right? h3, h5, and b3. A mistake. So b3 is an error, it's too passive. It seems that white has forgotten about his attack. It was still there after h4. So instead of b3, he had to play h4. Okay? And of course there is a line here that you can read in the book or in your chessable course. Queen d7. Oh, h4. Better late than never, right? Only now attacking. But in this case, it says that queen d2 was safer. Again, as you can see, for the engine, because these moves are found by an engine, this makes more sense. For a human, at this point, it was bad. But an engine knows why. Rook takes d5, g4, rook takes d1, bishop takes d1, right? And now h takes g4. And what would you play if you were white here? Try to find the right move, okay? It's not difficult, it's a very attacking move. Okay, if you pause and try to find, now I can tell you which one it was. h5, with pressure. Pressure that black doesn't handle well in the game. What did black play? A little mistake, queen c6. The best defense seems to be g3. Okay, probably found by the edge. So, queen c6, h takes g6, queen takes g6. So now we understand why we put the queen on g6, on c6. F takes g4, bishop e4, bishop f8, bishop c6. This doesn't help black's development, but also bishop takes f3, knight takes f3, leaves white with a deadly threat. Okay, he says over knight h4 and f5. So what did black played? White played here is rook h5. The threat obviously is rook g5 because the queen is keeping it. As you can see, honestly, to sit on a chessboard, it really gives you a three-dimensional compared to sit on the computer. So it's kind of nicer in my opinion, because our game is played on a chessboard, especially in tournament, right? For the moment, so I don't know. Queen f6, rook f5, queen e6, and finally, no, all the pieces are coming to the game. Knight h3. With great horror by Morphy, because we are at move 25, and only at move 25 white ended the development, let's say. Bishop takes f3. What would you play now if you were white? Because obviously the first move that comes to your mind is this, right? But maybe there is something better. Okay? Knight g5, the better move. And here it's interesting what black played. He played queen takes f5. It seems that also hopeless was queen g6. It's not saving me. Okay? So queen takes f5. Notice again, we are at move 28. These two pieces have not been used from the beginning. And the funny thing is probably these are two grandmasters or master player level, and yet they didn't use all their pieces up to move 28. That's crazy, right? So g takes f5, bishop c6, queen b2, f6, knight e6, and the rest is easy. King f7, now queen c3, bishop d7, another blunder, and here the game is ended by queen g3. An exciting game, and you will always get an exciting game with this game. Yeah, definitely exciting. Now try to figure out what happened after this, right? And why it wins so easily. In any case, I mean, we are 30 moves later, imagine. This means that Black was playing with a -8 throughout of the game because it wasn't using two pieces. And it's like if these pieces never existed, right? So that's the point here. Once more, I tell you, it's really pleasant to touch heavy pieces that you move over a chessboard.